Hello everyone, it's Mr. Alex here, and today I'm going to be talking about the job interview skills. I'm going to briefly go over ways to improve your interview skills in English and also ways in which we can practice. So, in part one, we're going to go how to talk about interview techniques. We're going to be talking about common interview questions. Part two, we're going to have what you need for an interview and what you will do before an interview. And then in part three, we're going to talk about exercises. So let's crack right. So first, why do we do job interviews? So we do job interviews and it's to have a formal conversation with the person. So if I'm going to interview one of you, it's a chance for me to practice and have a formal conversation with you. It's to find out about your mannerisms. Mannerisms are how you behave, okay? How you speak, how you sit, things like that. Okay, it's also to see if you have the right personality. Sometimes you just don't get along with people, and an interview is a good chance to see if you two can get along. And another thing is to ask follow-up questions or elaborate on questions that they have decided from your CV. A CV is a document you will send. We'll go through it later. So here I have a bunch of interview techniques, and you can just have a think if they're good or bad. So for example, shaking hands is an obvious one that's really quite a good technique, okay? So it's a really good technique. Crossing your arms. Is crossing your arms a good technique? Well, no, it's definitely not. It looks like you're being aggressive to the interviewer. Bring materials. So should you bring things to discuss during an interview? Absolutely, as long as it's something relevant, okay? A lot of you maybe want to be teachers, so you can bring example teaching materials. Fist bump. Now this one, I've included this because during the coronavirus time, yes, it's a good technique instead of shaking hands, so it's the same. But in a few years' time, there won't be COVID, and you shouldn't really fist bump. Looking around the room, not a good idea. It looks like you're disinterested. So big no there. Eye contact, very, very important. You should be doing the same for your DSE discussion skills as well. Talk confidently. Yeah. Not talk quietly. So we've got a tick here and a cross here. Repeat your best points. So what that means is, should you say the same good things about yourself? Absolutely not. If you're just saying one thing about yourself over and over again, it doesn't sound good. It sounds like you only have one positive. Include humor. If you can make the person interviewing you laugh, that actually is quite a good technique in certain circumstances. Now, if you're going to be a doctor, maybe don't laugh about a patient's health or something. But if you're going to work maybe in an office job, it can be quite good to make your interviewer laugh. Agree with the interviewer. So a lot of people worry about upsetting people if they disagree. Now, I'm not saying you should call your interviewer wrong, but it is a good idea to have your own opinions, your own ideas to create interesting discussion. So I'm going to put this as a tick and a cross. If you're doing it properly, it's a good idea to disagree. Make small gestures. So for example, pointing at things, using hand motions, okay? It's a non-verbal communication is always a good idea, not just when you're doing an interview, but also in your DSE as well. Sit up straight, very, very important. Fidget, try not to move too much, same as looking around the room. Very bad idea. So some common interview questions you should be thinking about. Why are you applying for this job? Do not say for money, okay? Number two, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? With weaknesses, don't make it too negative, okay? You want to give a weakness that you can work on. What will you bring to this school, job, office, okay? Humor can be an answer to that. Do you work well in a team? You will almost always get this question. And have you worked blank before? So have you worked in a register, a library, with kids before? Okay, so you can think about these questions. This is going to be the end of this first video. Things to think about or things you're going to need. Number 1 is a CV. Number 2 is knowledge of the place or the field of work, formal attire, and references. So that's what we're going to go through in the next video. So goodbye, everybody.